Hey everybody, welcome back. We're looking at chapter 6, which deals with banking now. You should have already completed before you start this, 6.1, which was going through the definitions of words that will be important to us, and there was 11 of them, things like withdrawal and so forth. So for this one, what we're going to be doing is writing checks. So checks can be written two ways. We have it written CHEQUES, which is common in Canada, or in the United States, they call them checks, CHECKS. Both represent the same thing, just a piece of paper that tells your bank how much money to move to a different account, where to move it, and when to move it. So lots of information must be passed over correctly on a check, and we are going to show you how to do that. Now, normally you won't pay with a check when you go to, the grocery store or places like that. But a lot of times when you have to pay rent, for example, or when you have to put down a deposit, you'll be using checks. So they're not used as often anymore, but still used for certain things that you'll see in your life. So checks need the following 6 things written on them. They need the date that the payment will be made, the name of the recipient, that's the person who you're paying, the amount of the payment in words. So we're going to have to write out the words number that we're transferring over, the amount of payment in numbers as well, memo explaining the purpose of the payment. So right at the bottom, you might say for rent or something like that. And then finally, your signature at the end. It's always a good idea to write your checks in pen as opposed to pencil, because pencil, somebody can change that. So the first example, somebody goes to a grocery store and they want to write a check for $95.14. So let's fill in all the information. So let's look at a check here. So up in the top left-hand corner, you will have your name and your address. You'll get these from your bank. We're going to have the check number in the top right-hand corner. So normally a booklet will start at 100 and then go 101, 102. And if you have another booklet, it might start at 200, and then 201, and then 202, and so on. So this one's the first check in the book. Up at the top, we have the date. So it says on September 22nd, 2012. That's when we want the payment to be made. So we would write September 22nd, 2012. That's when the payment should be made. That's when the payment should come out of your account. Next, it says pay to the order of. That's going to be the name of the person that we are sending the money to. So in this case, your groceries from Zehrs. So we might say Zehrs grocery store. Whoops. My pen didn't work there for a second. So there's grocery store. How much is it for? That's what we're going to write over here on the right side. There's a box there for it. So I already have the dollar sign there, so I'm going to be transferring $95.14. Whoops. Now, in order to make sure that that can't be changed, somebody put a 1 in front of it, or a 2 in front of it to make it seem like you're spending a lot more money, we're going to write down what the amount is in words. So something dollars we're going to have here. So we're going to say 95 dollars and 14 cents. Now, sometimes over here on the right, it won't say dollars, it will say cents for you already. Or it might say out of 100. So that would be 14 cents. You may see something like that. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to have it written in dollars. So we want to write in that. So when we write dollars, we got to make sure we're using the right money for whatever country we're in. So in Canada, it's dollars. Now down here will be your bank's address. So if you're with a Bank of Montreal or you're with Scotiabank, that would be written down here on your check. Memo is just a note to say what is it for. So these are for groceries. Had you paid for rent or something like that, you might rent down there. And then down at the bottom, you would need to write your signature. So I would say Mullrooney. And that was what I would give to the grocery store, or to the landlord if I'm paying rent, or to maybe a car dealership if I'm putting a down payment on a car, something like that. So we'll do a second one here. So it's pretty straightforward. All the information is written down on your check already. So for example 2, it says, on January 1st, 2013, you pay for rent from Holloman Properties. So that's the company that you rent from, or the person that you rent from, with a check for $745.62. So we want to write all that information down. Notice that this is check number 101. So write down the date. I'm going to say January 1st, 2013. I'm going to be paying Holloman Properties. So we have to make sure everything's spelled properly, because if it's not, then the company will not be able to cash your check. And if it's for rent, well, hopefully they let you do another one and don't kick you out. We're going to be paying $745.62 on January 1st is when I want the money to come out. Does that mean I have to write the check on January 1st? No. I could write it in December, but the money would not be transferred until the date that's written above. So sometimes you have a post-dated check, which might be something in the future, right? So I could pay in December for my rent in January by just putting the date. Say, this is the date I want it to come out. I can give the money early, but it won't come out of my account until the date that I write at the top. Next, I'm going to have to write the amount in words. So we're going to have 700 and $45 and 62 cents. I have to squeeze it on that line. A lot of information on there. Then down at the bottom, we have our bank, in this case, Math Aids Bank. And our memo, in this case, this is for our rent. That's just for us to know what we paid for it. And then finally, our signature down at the bottom. So that's where it's fun. You can work on your signature and your autograph. So when you're famous, you can be giving out your autographs to everybody. But that's how we write checks. So I want you to give it a try. There's 4 that are in the worksheet, and I want you to upload it to the website if you can. And if you have any questions, be sure to let me know, and we'll talk to you soon.